like to welcome you all as we join together and celebrate the renovation of this historic venue and war memorial that has not only paid tribute to veterans and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country, has also provided a point of civic pride for all Angelenos for nearly 100 years. So many people have played a major role in making this day possible. We're very grateful for the support of our city leaders, our local community, our many partners and stakeholders, as well as the fans and friends of the Trojan family. Today, we have several distinguished leaders who are with us, so let me begin by introducing some special guests, and I ask you to hold your applause until all are recognized. The trustees, please stand as I announce your name and remain standing so that we can recognize you as a group. Michael Adler, Stephanie Argyros, Charles Kale, Frank Cruz and his wife Bonnie, Suzanne DeWarrick Peck, Michael Felix, Helen Galen and her partner Jamie Kabler, Gavin Herbert, Gloria Kaufman, Jamie Lee, Kathleen McCarthy, Bill McMurrow, Rod Nakamoto, Dominique Ng, Lorna Reed, Amy Ross. Ladies and gentlemen, USC trustees. Now our senior administrators. Please stand as I announce your name and remain standing so that we can also recognize you as a group. Elizabeth Grady, Interim Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Glenn Osaki, Senior Vice President and Chief Communications Officer. Jim Staten, Senior Vice President for Finance and Chief Financial Officer. Lynn Swann, the Kale Director of Athletics, and his wife, Sharina. Felicia Washington, Senior Vice President of Human Resources, and Dave Wright, Senior Vice President for Administration. Ladies and gentlemen, our senior administration. And now our deans, and please stand as a group and be recognized. Willow Bay, Dean of the USC Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism. Milton S.F. Curry, Dean of the USC School of Architecture. Karen Sims Gallagher, Dean of the USC Rossier School of Education, and her husband, Professor Pat Gallagher. Andrew Guzman, Dean of the USC School of Law. Jack Knott, Dean of the USC Price School of Public Policy, and his wife, Associate Dean Sherry Short. Haven Lynn Kirk, Dean of the USC Roski School of Art and Design. Laura Mosqueda, Dean of the Keck School of Medicine of USC. And Erica Mole, Dean of the USC Jimmy Oavine and Andre Young Academy. We also have with us Tim Brunod, the Dean of Admissions. Ladies and gentlemen, our deans. And the list continues. The Emeritus Senior Administrators, please stand and be recognized as a group. Bob Abels, Senior Vice President Emeritus for Finance and our former Chief Financial Officer and his wife Judy. Dennis Cornell, Chief of Staff Emeritus, and Todd Dickey, Senior Vice President Emeritus for Administration, and his partner, Cliff Teston. Now our elected officials and civic leaders. I'd like to introduce many elected officials and civic leaders in attendance today. Please stand as I announce your name. Our mayor, Honorable Mayor, Eric Garcetti, Mayor of Los Angeles. Janice Hahn, President of the Coliseum Commission and Chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. Curran Price, Los Angeles City Council Member and Coliseum Commissioner. Don Knabe, retired Los Angeles County Supervisor. Zev Yaroslavsky, retired Los Angeles County Supervisor. And Tom LaBonche, retired Los Angeles City Councilman. And there's one other individual who's written in here, John Sandbrook, former Coliseum Commissioner. Finally, we have a number of senior officials with our great partners at Exposition Park. Again, please stand and be recognized as a group. Anna Lasso, Office of Expedition Park Management. Jeffrey Rudolph, California Science Center. George Davis, California African American Museum. Don McDivitt, Los Angeles County Natural History Museum. Tom Penn, Los Angeles Football Club. Belinda Jackson, Expo Center, Maria Camacho, Los Angeles Rams, Billy Greer, Chair of the Expo Park Master Plan Committee, Al Naipo, Chief Administrative Officer of the Coliseum Commission, Solomon Rivera, Vice President of Coliseum Commission, and Maisha Ward, the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. Ladies and gentlemen, our Expo Park partners. And finally, we also have with us Janet Lampkin, California President for United Airlines, Mark Krolik, Vice President in Product Development for United Airlines, and Clay Helton. We all know Clay, our head football coach. Thank you all for being here today. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Carol Folt, who is the 12th president of the University of Southern California. Dr. Folt is an internationally recognized life scientist, award-winning teacher, and highly experienced leader who is bringing new executive leadership, energy, and determination to our campuses. Throughout her distinguished career, Dr. Folt has earned a reputation for advancing academic excellence and innovation, putting students first, setting ambitious goals, prioritizing shared governance, and focusing on the future. She is already setting an ambitious course for USC, and she is here to share her Trojan spirit with all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Carol Folt.
This is my first big public event as president, a historic 100-year event, so I'm thinking, wow, this is a really good gig. So it is such a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to use my very official position to give you my first impression. Wow! This is amazing. We're doing the ribbon-cutting ceremony, but it is such a celebration, and it's wonderful to be with you. We're celebrating what our city leaders, the local community, what the larger Trojan family can accomplish when people work and dream together. The Coliseum was created, as you all know, as a memorial to honor veterans of World War I, and it now stands as a tribute to all veterans. We're so proud to be able to keep this wonderful name, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Yeah, that's a good. It, of course, has been the site of so many major historic moments. In 1960, this is where John F. Kennedy came and assured an audience of 80,000 people that this was not the last frontier, but a new frontier. And of course, at the time, that was the largest crowd that has ever been to hear a political speech. And in 1964, this is where the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came and spoke so passionately and persuasively about the importance of passing the Civil Rights Act. 2 Olympics have been hosted at the Coliseum. In 1932, of course, it was the site of the Summer Olympic Games. In 1984, it hosted track events as well as the opening and the closing ceremonies. And in 2028, the Coliseum will be the first venue in the world to hold ceremonies for 3 Summer Olympics. Woo! Since 1923, more than 36 million people have watched our Trojans play in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. I'd like to thank, there's so many people to thank, but I'm going to thank the main groups who worked on the project. And if there are representatives here, please stand and we'll applaud you all at the end. But I'll start with the USC Capital Construction and Development teams. They're here. I was saying that's a group that's probably been working 24/7 for quite a while to get to this moment. The architecture firm that oversaw the renovation plans, the DLR group. Thanks, everybody. The construction teams, which were a joint venture between Hathaway Dinwiddie and AC Com Hunt. United Airlines, for their strong support and for naming the field. And we also owe a deep debt of gratitude to the dozens of community-based partners who helped support our contractors, and our workers. It is really amazing the amount of human capital that actually went into this incredible and beautiful renovation. More than 2,600 people, including veterans, dedicated more than 800,000 hours of work to complete this project. At the peak of construction, in fact, there were 350 workers on site every day. Between football games, they sometimes worked round the clock in 2 shifts. And I want to thank the local community for their incredible contributions to this project. 67% of the construction work was done by our local residents. That's so important. 20% of the hours were worked by people who live within 5 miles of the Coliseum. Small businesses, including those owned by women and veterans and minorities, earned contracts worth more than $40 million. And as we all know, the Coliseum events will continue to provide jobs for more than 1,700 people. So this truly is a major partnership with the local community. A couple fun facts. There are 650 new video screens around the Coliseum. I don't know who counted them all, but there they are. It took 470 truckloads of concrete to complete the project, as well as more than 4,600 gallons of paint. 9,600 feet of new handrails were installed, and it is equipped with 75,451 new seats and cup holders. And maybe the best of all is that not a penny of public money was used to renovate this publicly owned stadium. USC, United Airlines, and hundreds of private donors funded the $350 million renovation. So I want to give a final thanks to everyone who played part in restoring this legendary landmark. Just here, meeting you and listening to what this Coliseum has meant to so many of you for your entire lives, it is just such a privilege to be a part of it. And so I thank our community, people who have supported this for their entire lives. It's really truly a great honor for us to be a part of this. Our elected officials and our civic leaders and the business partners who have fought for this for so many years and seen it come to completion. The Exposition Park stakeholders, the Coliseum Commission, and again, the veterans in whose honor it stands. Thank you. So we're looking forward to lots of great games, hearing our wonderful marching band at many different opportunities in the new and improved Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Fight on. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Eric Garcetti. Mayor Garcetti was one of the first people who warmly welcomed me to Los Angeles right after I was named USC's president in March. We had a great visit, and I learned immediately how deeply his ties run to USC and to the surrounding neighborhood. Of course, as you know, he's a 4th-generation Angelino. His grandfather, a Mexican immigrant and a war veteran, opened a barbershop just a few blocks away from here on the corner of Washington and Vermont. And of course, many of those barbershop customers, I understand, were USC professors. And that was just the beginning of his family being a part of the Trojan family. His father, former District Attorney Gil Garcetti, earned an academic scholarship to USC. Not only was he the first member of his family to attend college, but he also was elected vice president of USC's student body, which was the beginning of a long and distinguished political career. USC is so proud that the 42nd mayor of Los Angeles' first job after completing his Rhodes Scholarship was teaching international relationships at USC. So you're one of mine. The mayor and I also share a very deep and abiding commitment to sustainability and environmental stewardship. And I look forward in every way to partnering with your sustainability plan for Los Angeles, and I know that USC is going to play a major part in these efforts as we go ahead. And we have an incredible success in that right here, because I'm proud to say that the Coliseum is a zero-waste facility. So that's the start. Of course, it's Mayor Garcetti who successfully led the city's visionary bid for the 2028 Olympics, of which this Coliseum, not to repeat again, for the third time, will play host to the world. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Mayor Garcetti.
Let's hear it for President Folt. We are so excited for you, for your leadership, for your energy, for your enthusiasm, for your brilliance. And I know it's going to be an exciting relationship for our city and you to have together. So friends, Trojans, countrymen, and women, we come here today to mark this amazing moment in our city's history. And I can't help but feel that this is one of those moments when you read the chapters of Los Angeles history, what it feels like to actually be one of the authors, all of us, pen in hand, writing the pages of what will be the next 50 years of this city's amazing history. Because in Los Angeles, we don't just mark history, which we do here today, certainly, but we make history. We insist that it is not something just in the past to learn from, which we do, but something in the future to make, which we will, and which we are. Here in this space, we all have, just think you each as individuals, your memories here. I know they start way back. I don't know what my grandfather's memories are, but my dad grew up at 42nd and Figueroa Place before the 110 freeway took that street away, literally 2 or 3 blocks from here, looking at this Coliseum as a little boy. He told me when he was a USC student what it was like when the Dodgers had first come here and the World Series was back here, and there was nobody who really was at the gate, and he was dressed in his ROTC uniform at USC, and a woman on a bench, because there were benches, said, just come on in, don't worry. And he sat not just one day, not just 2 days, but 3 days of that World Series right here, the biggest group of people to ever watch a baseball game in history. I know what my childhood is like. When I was 13 years old, being here with flashlight in hand long before we had cell phones to light up at the closing ceremonies of the most amazing 2.5 weeks of my LA history, when we saw the world come to our streets, when people were trading pins right here in this plaza where we sit, and when we saw the world smile at what Los Angeles had become and would be. And I'm so grateful to this Trojan family that believed in this building. There's a lot of places that knock their history down. There's others who just let it slowly degrade. But here in Los Angeles, we find a way to make sure that we lift it up, we honor it, and find its next incarnation. And that's what we're celebrating here today. We can see it in the Greek marble over here, the Roman marble over here. Just 6 days ago, I was overlooking the Roman Coliseum with the mayor of Rome a few hours before being able to meet with His Holiness Pope Francis. And I looked out and saw that, thinking about that a week later I would be at that other Coliseum. And that one's in kind of worse shape than this, I gotta say, if USC wants to take it on and renovate it. But the $315 million belief in this place, in this institution, in this city, and in those memories was made possible by this Trojan family, by each one of the donors, by each one of the building tradesmen and women who came in here and gave us their labor, because it is human beings that build buildings, not just plans. To the board and to United Airlines, who stepped up in an exceptional way. And United Airlines Field at the Memorial Coliseum looks amazing. So thank you for believing in this town and what you have done as well. To Curran Price, our council member and my dear friend, to Supervisor Janice Hahn and her leadership, to Lynn Swann and Clay, and to the entire sports infrastructure of USC. There's a little bit I hear of a rivalry across town, and as mayor, I want to just say my father raised me with some very strict instructions, which is always root for USC football. I won't tell you the second half of those instructions, because he did go to law school someplace else, but he's always a Trojan. To Mark and the entire United Airlines team, to Mark Simpkins, representing our veterans community. Where'd you go, Mark? There you are, over there. And by the way, I don't know if he's still here, but we have a veteran. There he is, Sidney Walton, who visited me in my office, is 100.5 years old, a living World War II veteran who served the entire World War II. A man who is seeing all 50 states, represented our nation, was with our president and President Macron in Normandy. Thank you. We love you, and we honor you with this building. You know, quick side note, Sidney, and you can check this all out at GoSydney.com. There's your little plug for today. Regretted not meeting a Civil War veteran when he was a kid. And he said, when I get to be of a certain age, I want to make sure that kids today can meet a real live World War II veteran, and he is doing that across this country. And so whether it is him or my late grandfather, who was an immigrant to this country, a dreamer before we had that term, and not a citizen until he volunteered in World War II to fight for the only country he knew and loved. He came back as a citizen. The men and women who today answer the nation's call, we remember that this is what this building is really about behind us. And finally, I just want to say, I hope all of you will be here to enjoy in 2028 the next set of memories. After many USC national championships, after what we see here elevated up, we'll put a track back here. Part of the opening ceremonies will be here, even with that other beautiful stadium being built across town in Inglewood. We will see that this city is indeed a city of angels, one in which, in the words of the poet, we always make sure that our reach may exceed our grasp, but we keep stretching. We keep stretching till that tomorrow. We keep stretching to that possibility. For everybody freaking out, it's just a June bug. Don't worry. They don't bite. It's just a June bug. They're good luck. It's August, I know. There's a little climate change, you know. June bugs are in August. But let us keep reaching beyond that grasp. As the poem goes, after all, what is a heaven for? After all, what is this city of angels for? Congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, y en brevemente también, porque hay muchos miembros de la prensa español, felicidades a USC, felicidades a esta comunidad. Este gran coliseo es el centro, el corazón de Los Ángeles. Y este día es un gran día. Gracias a la comunidad de USC del sur de Los Ángeles celebramos este día. Felicidades.
Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn. Together with her father, great Supervisor Kenneth Hahn, and her brother, former LA Mayor Jim Hahn, her family is pretty much synonymous with Los Angeles, and she has more of her family here with her today. It's pretty special to know that just over 50 years ago, standing where we are today, Supervisor Kenneth Hahn led the Memorial Day services in honor of fallen service members, including World War I veterans. Of course, Supervisor Hahn has built upon that tremendous legacy, and she continues to make her own remarkable and historic contributions to the civic life of our region and our nation. Through her time as a distinguished member of the Los Angeles City Council, in the U.S. Congress, now on the LA County Board of Supervisors, she has been championing Los Angeles as a place of extraordinary diversity and opportunity. At the heart of everything she does is a boundless passion for improving the life of LA County residents. She's an ardent fighter for the working family, and she's also championed major initiatives to help create affordable public housing, improving our public parks, and renovating our local libraries. I'm really looking forward to working with her to strengthen and build upon USC's own commitment to community and to strengthen the quality of life throughout the region. Please join me in welcoming the chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors and the president of the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum Commission, Janice Hahn. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, President Folt, and let me add my bit of welcome to Los Angeles. I thought you were an excellent choice to lead USC, and I'm looking forward to seeing your incredible leadership in action. You know, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum has indeed long been cemented in our city's history. It's not only been home to iconic LA sports teams, from the Dodgers to the LA Rams to the Trojans, it has hosted Pope John Paul II. And as you said, President John F. Kennedy, Nelson Mandela, and still to this day, the largest crowd ever to assemble in this Coliseum was to hear Billy Graham give a sermon. So just think, the largest crowd was there to hear the gospel being preached. You know, when the Dodgers first came to Los Angeles, of course, Chavez Ravine wasn't built. So it was my dad and the then baseball coach at a little college across town named Pepperdine that came out one evening to see on whether or not baseball could be played at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And sure enough, after he measured out the floor of the Coliseum, he turned around to my dad, who was in the press box, and said, "Kenny, you can play baseball here." And we know that, of course, was the first World Series that the Dodgers brought to Los Angeles. You know, my dad also snuck in to the 1932 Olympics, but he was caught and thrown out, unlike your father. But I also attended the 1984 opening and closing ceremonies right here, and I'm pretty sure my grandkids who are here today will be overjoyed to be a part of the 2028 Olympics that we also host. But you know, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum is more than just a sports venue. It's a living war memorial that the people of Los Angeles, the civic leaders of Los Angeles, built to honor the memories of the young men from Los Angeles who marched off to World War I and never returned. And our Coliseum Commission has been charged with the stewardship of this Coliseum, but for years it was badly in need of renovation, and that commission was unable to dedicate the resources to get it done. I am so grateful, and we all are here today to thank once again USC for stepping up and taking on the incredible responsibility to renovate this beautiful Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. This renovation has been done with such care and has turned out absolutely beautifully. And thanks so much to the innovative partnership between USC and United Airlines. They were able to not only honor our veterans by ensuring that this renovation brought this war memorial back to its former glory, but also by preserving the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum's historically significant name. Thank you so much for that partnership. The other hat I'm wearing today is as chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. So I have two tokens of appreciation from the County of Los Angeles, and my granddaughter Isabella will bring them up now. Thank you. One is for President Folt, and the other is for Janet Limkin and Mark Kralik of United. So if you would come up here and receive this token of appreciation. President Folt, I've got yours right here. Congratulations on behalf of the County of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We look forward to your leadership.
Thank you. Yes.
And to United Airlines, thank you to Janet Limkin and Mark Kralik for all that you did to make today possible.
Thank you.
I am so grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
It's now my privilege to introduce Lieutenant Commander Mark Simpkins. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, as you know, was created as a tribute to the veterans, and this holds true today. It's very fitting that today we have a distinguished veteran with us. Lieutenant Commander Mark Simpkins attended USC on a Naval ROTC scholarship. He was also a student athlete. During his first year, he was a member of our men's water polo team. And for 4 years, he rowed on the men's varsity crew team and was the team's captain in his senior year. Lieutenant Commander Simpkins, sound effects, trained as a Navy SEAL, and he graduated as the top candidate in his class. He served his country for 6 years on active duty, and he spent another 9 years in SEAL Team Reserves. He was awarded the Bronze Star for valor in combat and the Combat Action Ribbon. He's been married for 30 years to his wife, Debbie, who is the daughter of Dr. Arthur Bartner, who is the director of the USC Trojan Marching Band, and he is with us here today. And so now, please join me in welcoming USC alumnus, Lieutenant Commander Mark Simpkins.
Thank you, President Folt. I'm very honored to have been asked to speak here with you today on behalf of my fellow veterans, my brothers and sisters in arms. As President Folt mentioned, my name is Mark Simpkins, and I've served as a lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy as well as the Naval Reserve. I'm proud to be here for several reasons. First, as a veteran in the Naval Reserve, I had the opportunity to serve with some of the finest people that our nation has ever produced. These are men and women who are your friends, neighbors, family members. You never know who a veteran is, but there are many, many among us, the mayor included, and we also are very, very privileged to have a World War II veteran among us today. Second, I'm a Trojan who had the privilege of participating in a couple different sports here, both on the men's varsity crew and on the water polo team. So the Coliseum has a special place in my heart as a Trojan athlete. Third, I'm a Trojan parent. I have had 2 graduate already. I have 1 here, and hopefully I will have 1 here in a year or so. So I do want to recognize my family. Thank you. So we are dyed in the wool, as you can say. And fourth, I'm from Santa Barbara and Southern California, and I realize how important this venue is, not just as the home of the Trojans, but as a memorial to veterans, past, present, and future. People who haven't served don't fully understand the sacrifices that veterans make on a daily basis. We have veterans. I've had friends that have done 10, 12, 14 deployments, and that's a lot of birthdays, anniversaries, holidays to have missed, and some don't come home. So it is important to recognize veterans, and it is important to have this venue honoring veterans and also as a memorial for those who gave all. I've worn 2 uniforms, both the uniform as an athlete here at USC as well as our armed services. And I can tell you that the military and veterans are a unique team that are comprised of people from all across our country, every socioeconomic class, every small town, and our great cities. It is truly the best that our country has to offer, and these are all volunteers. These are people who walk away voluntarily to defend ourselves, their friends, their families, their neighbors, and the ideals that our country stands for. It's fitting that this special venue has a rich tradition of being home to the Trojans, because USC has had a long tradition of supporting both the military and veterans. I myself was able to attend USC on an ROTC scholarship. It was an opportunity that I will always be grateful both to our military for as well as the university. The university has been host to all ROTCs from all 3 branches of the service, and affording a lot of young men and women the opportunity not just to serve, but to be Trojans, and that's very important. We're entering a new era here with United Airlines Field at the Memorial Coliseum with these wonderful renovations. It's really important to see a recommitment and another dedication to the Coliseum as a war memorial and as a memorial to veterans, and not just simply a football field. It would be very easy, as many stadiums have across the country, to dedicate themselves to the corporate ideals and not to retain the traditions of recognizing veterans and their families as well, in addition to those who are currently serving. So each year, we need to keep in mind that as our military has grown and commitments around the world have grown for our military, there are more and more active duty personnel that are separating and coming into civilian life. And it's important for all of us to keep that in mind and to give them opportunities and help them transition to civilian life. I know that our city has redoubled its efforts towards that goal. Our university has, and it's important that all of us as employers also keep that in mind as well. Before each football game, we're reminded of the service and recognize one of our alumni veterans before the game who has answered the call. But we need to remember that this is truly hallowed ground. It's not only a place that unites us in our love of the university and of our Trojan football team, but it is also a reminder to all of us of the sacrifices that our veterans have made. So please take a moment to remember that this is not just our house. It is a symbol of our nation's commitment to its values, the Constitution, and to the men and women in uniform, both past, present, and future, who have dedicated themselves to protecting our rights, our freedoms, as well as the Constitution itself. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
He's still standing, but I wanted to thank Lieutenant Commander Simpkins, and thank you for your service. So over the last few years, this beautiful renovation has benefited greatly from the support and partnership of United Airlines. Thanks to their dedication, we're very pleased that in a couple of weeks, our Trojans will play their very first game on United Airlines Field at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Mark Krolik, Vice President of Marketing and Product Development for United Airlines. One second, Mark. Mark was one of the key leaders behind efforts to develop United Airlines Field at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Mark's leadership role within United includes overseeing all consumer marketing efforts and activities related to advertising and brand management, direct marketing, social media, and product research and development. Let me also say, and this definitely goes without saying, that United Airlines has been a fantastic partner throughout this entire process. Please join me in welcoming Mark Krolik to the stage.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mark. On behalf of 90,000 United Airlines employees around the world, Janet Lampkin, our President of California, and the entire United Airlines team, thank you for having us here today. So why did United Airlines choose to partner with USC and the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum? Well, really 3 reasons. The first reason is our ongoing commitment to education and athletics. We want to partner with organizations around the world that are going to help us develop the future aviation leaders of tomorrow. And we believe in athletics because, like travel, we believe athletics help people become a better version of themselves. We partner with intercollegiate athletics. We partner with amateur athletics, like the New York City Marathon, and we partner with over a dozen professional athletic teams around the country. Second, our commitment to Los Angeles. United Airlines has been serving Los Angeles for 90 years. Thank you. We employ over 5,000 people here, and we carry millions of people each year from, to, and through our hub here in Los Angeles International Airport. In addition, and the main reason we wanted to partner with this project is because of our commitment to veterans. United Airlines couldn't be who we are without veterans. Over 10% of our employee population are veterans, and we're hiring 50 to 100 veterans every single month to help continue to grow and support the airline. But I will tell you, the idea of the armed services has an even deeper meaning to me personally, as I'm now a proud father, shameless plug, of a fourth-class cadet at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And I'll tell you, once you have a child enter the armed forces, you can't look at the flag the same way without getting a little bit emotional. Lastly, I'll say, we're not done here. We are looking forward to partnering with USC because we plan to co-develop and bring a memorial to aviation professionals who got their start in the armed services right here to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And so we'll be working on that over the next year. So with that, I want to thank you, and I'm telling you one thing, I'm looking forward to my favorite season of the year, which is football season. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mark. So now I have the honor of introducing Los Angeles City Council Member Kern Price, who represents the 9th District, or the new 9th, as it's known in Los Angeles, due to the council members' leadership and advocacy. So during his two terms on City Council, Councilmember Price has represented our campus and the USC Village and developed a reputation for working hard to generate new economic development projects, working to solve the homeless crisis, generating jobs and economic opportunities for his constituents through local hiring and small business assistance programs. Since taking office, he has helped usher in nearly $4 billion in private investment with projects like the Los Angeles Football Club, the Bank of California Stadium, Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, and the Coliseum. Please join me, whoop, the August bug just got me. Please join me in welcoming Councilmember Price.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors. Welcome to the new 9th. Give yourselves a hand. On behalf of President Hahn, and other members of the Commission, Coliseum Commission, just want to welcome you again to this iconic spot and something we're very, very proud of. But before I continue, let me just a few acknowledgments. First of all, to President Folt, who has just been a real jewel and a real angel, not only for the university but for our community. We're excited that she's here. We're looking forward to her leadership. Also, Lynn Swann, our athletic director, and of course our friends from United Airlines for getting us to the finish line. Thank you. Let's give them a hand, please. I remember standing here with many of you as about a year ago as we reached the halfway mark on this $315 million renovation. We celebrated the topping out ceremony along with construction workers, with USC students, with the marching band, community leaders, really excited about the prospects of rejuvenating this historic spot. Today, we celebrate the final renovations of this landmark, one of LA's most hallowed, historic, cherished venues. The Coliseum has served our city, as you've heard, for 100 years. And thanks to these renovations, it'll be standing for another 100 years. Don't you agree? So I want to extend my warmest congratulations to all those who had a hand in making these renovations possible. It's especially significant in my district, Mayor, as you know, because it has created almost 2,600 jobs. 2,600 jobs. I'm especially proud. Yeah, give yourselves a hand on that. Especially proud because it included 30% local hire provision, meaning that a lot of the workers who worked on this project lived within 5 miles of this project. And that's significant. In fact, 70% of the construction work at the Coliseum is done by LA County residents. That's recycling dollars. In addition, I want to commend SC for working with my office and agreeing to invest $1 million. That's in $2010, $2019, $1 million in job training resources, which has benefited a multitude of residents in CD9. Also, as a part of the project, USC invested more than $1 million for recreation and parks acquisition, capital improvements, and for programming in the district. Let's give it up for USC. And as you heard from President Folt, no public funds were used to renovate this project. It was entirely paid for by USC, United, and a number of private donors and supporters. Let's give them another round of applause. I'm thrilled to join you again today as we celebrate the completion of this project. The city of LA thanks you, the fans thank you, the athletes are going to thank you. Angelinos everywhere are going to be thanking you and very proud of this accomplishment. With the reservations, this world-class venue, we'll look forward to the future. And of course, we're excited about the number of upcoming activities, not the least of which is the 2028 Olympics. And that will be a very important part of our existence here. So we are very, very proud. So in the City of Angels, we just want to say, fight on. Let's make this happen. We're glad to be here. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilmember Price. So now I'd like to introduce a man who has many memories connected to the Coliseum. As a student athlete, Lynn Swann helped lead our Trojans to an undefeated season and a national championship in 1972. Today, he leads our entire athletic department. Please welcome USC Athletic Director, Lynn Swann.
David, thank you very much. I have good news and I have bad news. All right? The good news is I'm almost the last speaker. The bad news is some of the things I'm going to say you've already heard. Please listen and applaud at the appropriate time. Okay. This is a great day to be a Trojan, and I am thrilled to celebrate the completion of the redesigned, refurbished, restored United Airlines Field at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The Coliseum, thank you, the appropriate applause. The Coliseum is the treasure home of our Trojan family. It's where generations of families and friends have gathered over the years and celebrated not just USC success, but each other's success. Together, we understand this place is more than just a stadium. It holds memories and experiences dear to all of us, and we will create new ones here. I'm not going to go through all my experiences here. Playing here in 1972 in awe, walking through that tunnel for the very first time. Roommates like Sam Cunningham, who were great teammates and remain great friends and continue the Trojan bridge of friendship that we have. Coming back to this Coliseum in my first Pro Bowl as a professional athlete to play here. Coming back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles as a member of ABC Sports to cover the 1984 Olympics. This has been a tremendous place to watch, and today I get to watch the next generation of Trojan athletes, football players, soccer players, lacrosse players come here and compete and make their own memories. 6 years ago, USC Athletics had a vision. We set forth on a bold, ambitious plan to restore our home. And our plan was to do it right, to enhance the game day experience for all of us, and to fund it with private money, taking no government or student fees. Our confidence to achieve this was rooted in one thing, the strength of the Trojan family. So today we celebrate not just the restoration of our home, we also celebrate the exceptional investment the Trojan family has made to our city and our university. There are several individuals and foundations I would like to take a moment to recognize in the audience today. These are people and organizations who stepped up in an extraordinary way. Some of them at the outset 6 years ago by providing lead gifts to help us get this project approved. So let's start with Julia Argyros and Stephanie Argyros for naming the Julia and George Argyros Plaza, Diane Basher for naming the Jim and Diane Basher Founders Club in the Scholarship Club Tower. Palmer Murray and the Otis Booth Foundation for naming the Otis Booth Press Box. Helene Galen for naming the Lou Galen Club. Thank you, Helene. Chuck Cale and his family for supporting the Coliseum Endowment. Ruth Blair and her family for naming the Dr. Frank and Ruth Blair Family Band Section. Michelle Ingeman and the Dato family for naming Rod's Tiger Lounge. Gannon and Lindsay Jaguer for naming the Recruitment Suite. Bill Banyard and family, Sue and Jim Firmino, David Villarreal for naming Coliseum tunnels throughout the stadium. Please give them a round of applause. There is another special group I'd like to acknowledge and thank, all the major groups who worked and completed this restoration. We've already named most of them, but let's add to that event, Advent, Nabi Youssef, KPFF, ARUP Engineering, KGM, RW Smith, TRC, Jan Edson Design, Tangram, Steelcase, West Coast Industries, and Irwin Seating. Thank you very much for all that you have done. To our dear friends and staff at the Coliseum, thank you for being such great partners in this project. And a special thanks to special people who led this project from day one from the USC Athletics side. Our Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer, Steve Lopes. Steve, thank you very much. Dan Stimler. Dan, this project couldn't have been done without your help and support. Jeff Fucci, who kind of managed a lot of the day-to-day. In our development department, the entire development department led by Ron Orr. We want to thank all of you for the hard work. And Mark, I just have to say, your son being at the Air Force Academy and your involvement with United Airlines Field at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, it means a great deal. Primarily because I have a son who will graduate in December at West Point, and I think we hold the edge in the football games. But we'll have to get together and talk about that. So, I've been told I skipped a group here on the founders. Where did I skip them, Ron? Okay, the founders, right here, sorry. The founders who are here also, Julia and Stephanie Arduous, Andrew and Avery Barth, Bob and Sherry Best, the Centofonte family, Fox Sports and Kyle Sherman, John Hagestad, and the USC Marshall School of Business, and Bill and Leslie McMorrow. Thank you so much. And Ron, thank you so much. Okay, now I would like to introduce our head coach, Clay Helton, who will be a very important beneficiary of the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Clay?
What a great day to be a Trojan, huh? I apologize, I'm halfway through training camp, so you get my coach's voice right now. I can't get out of character. You know, my whole adult life has been about seeing teams come together and special teams, special people come together to accomplish amazing things. And to watch this project take place and to see a group of people come together to accomplish something so amazing has been absolutely a dream for our coaching staff and for our football team. To see an administration be able to say, you know what, status quo isn't good enough. Standard of excellence at USC is the best in the entire country, and we will go ahead and be the best stadium in the entire country. To have that vision and do that is amazing. To have our city's political leadership to be able to say, you know what, not only is this good for USC, but this is great for the city of Los Angeles. Thank you for you and what you have done. Thank you to the donors that allowed this to be privately funded. from our personal alumni and fans that gave private money, to businesses in our local community, to our great friends at United Airlines. Thank you for what you have done to keep this a privately funded project and allowed us to do this. Thank you also to the brilliant, brilliant architects that put together what you're fixing to walk in and see. Thank God y'all are a lot smarter than ball coaches, because this thing is absolutely beautiful. Thank you to the 400 men and women that worked at a time that I got to meet last week, the blue-collar contractors and workers that worked daylight till dark. I come in at 5:30. They already had the lights on working. They worked Saturday and Sunday, and I thank you for all the hard work that you have done. And I got one of the more special things, and I thank Mr. Swann and our administration for allowing us in the first opening ball game, every person that gave blood, sweat, and tears to this project as construction workers is going to be sitting here for the Fresno State game. And finally, to our veterans, thank you. Thank you for the freedom that allows us to play the game that we love and play in such an amazing, amazing place. I hope that you get the opportunity, each and every one of you, of getting something to do that I did last Friday. I got to pull up 110 young men into that tunnel, and I started walking down the tunnel. And as I walked down, the hair on the back of my neck standed up, because I knew I was in a place of history. A place that not only has had 11 national championship teams, the most NFL draft picks in the history of any college football team, but has also hosted a World Series, a Super Bowl, 2 presidents addressing the nation, the Pope blessing Mass right here, Reverend Billy Graham having Mass right here. The ability to have that much history as you walk down, and maybe most importantly, to have the greatest band director hosted the last 50 years, Dr. Art Bartner, and the best band in the history of the game. And when you walk down on United Airlines Field, I want you to all have a chance to do it. Because when I hit the ground, I have 3 children by birth. I have 110 adopted sons. And to see them hit the field last Friday night, and to see the pride in their eyes, to see the pride of what the city of Los Angeles just got, what USC has just been given, and most importantly, our students and our student athletes, the gift that they've been given, I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. When you hit the field, you understand and you realize USC is the most special place in the world, and it is because of its people, and the city of Los Angeles is the most special place in the world because of its citizens. Thank you for this gift that you have given us. We cannot wait to see you.